So I think we're up to district council for reports and discussions.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity. I really have nothing specific to suggest this evening, except for one thing, and that is thank you for reviewing the P3, 3P memorandum. It's very lengthy. I know it's not a simple document, and it's very complicated in the context of what to do and how to do it, but there is a recipe there. And when you make a cake, you read the recipe, and basically that's how you make the cake. There's no cake yet to be made until you make it, until you decide to make it. So that was a very clear point of reference in our memorandum. To the extent that things progress to the point where a 3P project becomes viable, or you choose to have one, that recipe in that memorandum is going to be the recipe you can rely upon legally, as can third parties in the public who would otherwise inquire. So thank you for that. And if you have any questions of any kind during the next number of days, weeks, months, et cetera, where that memo becomes a point of reference, we're happy to answer any questions you may have individually, offline. That's all I have. And thank you for the opportunity as always.
Thank you, Mr. Gorin.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Reports and discussion items. We'll start with Mr. Engel.
I'm good.
Good. Mr. Rollins.
I'm good also.
Gee, everybody's good. Okay, Mr.
I can't miss an opportunity. So I got two things. One is I just want to reiterate on the, from a overall fiscal responsibility in the budget, I think we did the right thing. But at the same token, I do believe our community expects and deserves the best parks in the area. And that's evidenced by the gentleman who was here earlier from the Little League wanting access, as well as we can tell that others want the access. So I have the utmost confidence that Brianne is working with the city to look for opportunities to reduce the costs, and we'll do so. So we'll work forward, but it'll take time. And so that's one part of it. The second part is I wanted to mention that at last week's city council meeting, there was a discussion about art in the parks and art just in general in the community. And it was led by Chairwoman Andrea O'Rourke. And I felt bad that she didn't get the full funding. And I would like for us to give consideration ask her for a presentation of what could be done further in the community. And I think there's, an opportunity to support her as we've done in the past. And it has been welcomed by the community. So maybe for a future agenda item, if the group agreed, we could have her present to us where she's at, where they're going, and what's going on with it. And lastly,
Always welcome to our meetings.
maybe Brianne could invite her. The last thing is that through the good nature of my son, he is forcing us to go to the beach. And every time I go to the beach, I pick up stuff on the beach. But I could not help but notice that there is significant erosion this week. And I think it's a continuation of a lot of things going on, but it makes me think that, we always should have a healthy, robust reserve for beach renourishment, because that's why we're here as a starting point. And down the road, I think we should look at a little closer of, will we be needing to do this more often? Do we have enough money in reserve to support everything that we need? Because we really have I would call it a thin financial statement from my perspective. So that's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Wright.
Yeah, I didn't see the city council meeting, but I agree with you in terms of, I think we have two opportunities, obviously, with Ocean Strand and Ocean Breeze, where we can incorporate some art. But I didn't see the meeting, so I'm bummed that she didn't get support for that. But yeah, I think we should definitely talk to her about that. And the beach nourishment, maybe Jen and Brianne could have a talk about that too, to see where the status is on that. But and it was International Cleanup Day at the beach. Were you there cleaning up?
Not today, but that's Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah, so yes, on all those 2 points. But I don't have anything else besides that. Yeah, that's it.
You go along with your art in public places. We have a lot of talented high school students who are very artistic throughout our community, and maybe they could participate in this art in public places in some kind of a community service aspect. Brianne and I were talking that the kids are now really needing community service and the opportunities aren't as vast because of COVID. And we were thinking about maybe a park cleanup to, have the kids get community service hours and see if there's any interest in that. So I thought I would call some of the high schools, as I don't know if we're going to have a top soccer where they get significant numbers of community service this year. So if you guys are all in favor of it, I'll start making some phone calls just to see what the temperature is out there.
I'm very much in favor of it. I would point out that the beach has no shortage of garbage on it. So there's, there's plenty of opportunity all over, and it would be a good thing.
Get some phone calls. Brianne, what are our future agenda items?
We can, sorry. We can certainly invite Mr. O'Rourke and our deputy mayor to speak about art in public places. We also had user fees as a topic to discuss, and we obviously will have the Miller Lake agreement. If not at the next meeting, it will definitely happen in October, where we got to get to the scope in our individual discussions. So those are the items that I have.
That one?
Oh, boy.
That
User,
was Andrea.
Andrea, user fees.
One question for Brianne is that, I recognize we're not doing pickleball, and I recognize that we're working through our contract with Miller Lake, but it would be a good question for Miller Lake if there's any interim way we could allow access or use out at Ocean Breeze safely, and because I just feel like this feels like it's a typical, government project. It could take a while. That's my number one concern. And I think we've all heard from residents that they would like things quicker, faster. And Miller Lake, what we signed on to is going to take a process and some time. So if you just ask them if there's some interim ideas.
You mean like walking or something, like not pickleball, but like
Walking,
something more-
any number of things
Yeah.
that have low expense, that are safe, that could,
that we don't need a permit for.
that we don't need a permit for. Yeah. I don't know. It's just open thoughts. That's
Okay.
all.
All righty.
Move to adjourn.
Do we hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Joanne, would you do a roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming.